robots took my podcast, man.
Yesterday, he was a nobody. Today, he is front page news.
Your name?
Brad, little Brad Jr.
And is there a Big Brad? Who is he?
He's my father.
A man too dangerous to get close to. A boy too dazzled to break away. Sean Penn is Brad Whitewood Jr., a live wire kid in a dead-end town, yearning for a family he's never known.
Guess you must have heard about me. I heard you was a thief. I see something in you. The caretaker's light just went on. I see you got something. Terry and I are leaving. We're getting out of here.
Family gun, Dad.
I love you. Is that what you want to hear?
I love you too, Dad.
Sean Penn, Christopher Walken. Like father, like son, like hell. At close range.
Featuring Madonna's hit song, Live to Tell.
Okay, I guess we can get started here.
Okay.
Sunday night podcast night. Here we are talking feel-good movies of the 80s here. Yes. All right, Jordan, kick us off.
All right. And 3, 2, 1. Welcome to our podcast. The robots took my podcast. I am Jordan.
And I am Anthony.
We have a guest today, don't we?
Yeah. Who is our guest today, Jordan?
My old friend Misty from Austin, Texas. And from, what is it called? You Got This Covered?
We got this covered.
We got this covered. I'm so sorry. We got this covered is hemorrhaging right now.
Yeah. And so Misty, for all those who are regular listeners to this podcast, has been on a prior episode, Beyond the Valley of the Dolls.
One of our highest listened to episodes, apparently, too.
Yeah.
The best movie ever, that's why.
Yes. Russ Meyer power.
And a lot of people tend to agree. That was a really fun episode. So we're not talking about this week a 60s mod, however you want to describe Beyond the Valley of Dolls.
There's no Z-Man in this movie. No. This is my happening and it freaks me out kind of stuff in this movie. No.
No. This is Christopher Walken's happening and it freaks him out. So,
and us.
What movie are we talking about today, Misty?
Okay, this is At Close Range. And I have a feeling about this movie because it reminds me of, being a teenager and...
This movie came out in 1986, February. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to point that out.
Yes. It was something that I watched with my dad. Oh. And just the darkest movie ever.
This is a family film. Yeah.
It is.
Fun for the whole family.
I watched this on video with my dad, too, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Oh, wow.
As a kid, and man, same here. I was just like, this is so dark. My dad didn't make me close my eyes a lot.
Okay, so it is a family crime drama, small town family crime drama. And who are some of the stars that we are going to encounter here, Jordan?
Sean Penn, Christopher Walken, as you said, who plays Brad. I forgot his name. Brad Senior.
Whitewood Sr.
Brad Whitewood Sr. It's because it's based on actual crimes by Bruce Johnston Sr., who up in Chester County, Pennsylvania. But the cast is a cast of power, man. I mean, Christopher Walken, Sean Penn, even got Tracy Walter. We've got Candy Clark. We've got Mary Stuart Masterson. Crispin Glover, even. Jesus Christ.
Sutherland. The list goes on.
And yeah, Kiefer Sutherland, pre-Lost Boys. This is a year before Lost Boys comes out.
Stand By Me is the same year, though.
Yeah. Same year as Stand By Me.
His breakout year.
And he barely has any dialogue. And then, of course, the staple actor, Stephen Jeffries, who you had to have in every 80s movie. It was pretty much the law in the state of Los Angeles back then. if you made an 80s movie, he had to play the wacky sidekick that was going to do every drug or do everything.
Yeah.
You know.
Stephen Jeffries from Fright Night, notably, and
Fright Night,
apparently
yeah.
a bunch of gay porn in the 90s. So
What?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I think I heard that too. Don't ask me how I know that, but
we all know how you know that.
well.
But anyways.
Okay, anyway.
So this movie is directed by James Foley of Glengarry Glen Ross fame and a couple of the lesser 50 Shades sequels, right?
Yes, and apparently, can I intervene here and say?
You may intervene. Go ahead.
This movie got made because of Sean Penn.
Oh, yeah?
Make no mistake. Sean Penn was the shepherd of this movie. Because he went to the powers that be and said, I will not make this movie without James Foley, it got made with James Foley and him together.
Wow.
And that was because the movie had been like languishing in development hell for a while. It was meant to be made with Jack Nicholson and Bob Rafelson.
Really?
Around the time of after The Postman Always Rings Twice from 1981.
Really?
So, yeah, apparently. And then apparently they wanted Robert De Niro to play the Chris Walken role, but Robert De Niro turned it down and said it was too dark for him. I don't get him saying that at that time because everything he did back then was dark. He did Angel Heart a year later.
Yeah. Wow. That says something. And the screenplay is by Nick Kazan, son of
Elia, I believe.
Yes.
Kazan.
Exactly. Yeah.
Talk about Hollywood nepotism there.
Hollywood nepotism, power all around. All-star vehicle, just power in every direction. Yeah, so I guess we're going to dive into it and see, see what's going on with this movie. This is a movie if you're just having I don't know, you're down, sort of a down day, you got a case of the blues and you want to pick me up film. Just stream this little bad boy here and you're going to be all smiles afterward.
Oh yeah, it's a real.
Oh yeah, the feel-good hit of the summer.
Yeah. Sure.
It's a real pick-me-up, yeah.
I also want to say that Juan Ruiz, I'm going to say his last name wrong, and Kia, a Spanish cinematographer, did some of the cinematography on this. Who also worked on Glengarry Glen Ross.
Amazing.
James Foley. Yeah,
amazing
some interesting choices. Some interesting choices here. We'll see as we go along. But anyway, how does this movie begin, Misty?
Okay, well, it starts off and we see Sean Penn driving, and it's like, here is beautiful, rock-ribbed Sean Penn from every angle you can imagine. And he's living in this town where tractors drive right down the street with cars, just driving around, listening to Tradio.
Tradio? Is that tractor radio?
Tradio is like, it's a program where people sell things and then people call in and ask questions about it. It's like small town.
eBay?
What is that channel where people buy things?
Oh, like the
shopping
network?
Where people buy things?
Home shopping network?
Yeah, it's the home shopping network, but it's like in a small town and they call it Tradio.
Oh,
wow.
Really?
That's interesting.
I
learned something new.
Yeah.
Learn a lot about small town America. But yeah, what I was thinking is we begin with before that happens, that does happen, but some very serious titles with some serious synth music. And something serious is about to happen. Like
the music is by Patrick Leonard.
Yeah. You are supposed to care about this movie immediately. It's like, okay. And this was back in the day when titles were the first act of the movie. Directed by, produced by. It was just titles.
But you know what this reminds me of, I have to say? I'm sorry to interrupt. It reminds me of the opening of Taxi Driver, the way it's shot close up with the lighting.
Yeah.
And it's fitting because the movie is set in 1978, so it's like it's almost like James Foley automatically is going, let's go all 70s style here, which was weird probably for 1985 or 86 when this movie came out and was, or made with and then came out. You know what I mean? Because the 70s weren't hard hitting. People wanted to forget the 70s in the 80s for a long time.
Yeah. And this really does from start to finish feel like a 70s movie.
Yes.
It's inescapable.
And then Chris Walken from a 1978 Best Picture nominee, Deer Hunter, here he is in this movie. you know,
Yeah.
adding that 70s power to it, you know, it's like,
Yeah.
anyway, sorry.
But yeah, so anyways, it's I don't know, it's kind of starts for me like a really dark, bizarro American Graffiti kind of. It's kids in a small town, Grandview, USA. It's kind of like small town vibes, kids with nothing to do hanging out, right?
Yeah. It also kind of looks like your favorite movie, Two Lane Blacktop, a bit, you know.
Yeah, another dark 70s film.
Another dark small town 70s or something like that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, Misty. So they're hanging out. It's a bunch of kids hanging out in the town square. And what happens here to kick this movie off?
So since we've already seen a lot of Sean Penn's face,
yes,
then we see him notice Mary Stuart Masterson. He's like, oh yeah. And, he's probably about to approach them. But first, he's got to go help his brother, who got a grown-up to buy him a bottle of liquor, which we've all been there, right?
Yeah.
And,
of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then the grown-up businessman won't give it to him. And I thought, this scene, what happens next is the perfect way to introduce a character, because it's nuts.
Yeah.
Because
I agree.
so many things happen, and we get such a clear picture of what kind of person he is, who he is. He seems, because what happens is that his brother really needs him to get him out of this, because the guy took his money and won't give him the liquor and won't give him his money back, and they're arguing about it. And it looks like he's just going to let the guy go. Mm-hmm. But then he just jumps onto the hood of the guy's car and hooks his fingers underneath. The guy's driving around, the street's wet.
Yeah.
And he doesn't, he's
streets.
just fearless.
He doesn't even have any gloves on, which I can't even see any gloves on the stunt man or stunt double of Sean Penn. Of course, it also looks like Sean Penn's doing this for real.
Yeah, I think he's doing some of his own stunts here. And
yeah.
And Misty, do you recall from Beyond the Valley of the Dolls? We had a similar scene where someone jumps on the hood of a car.
Yeah, we did. The lawyer, Emerson.
Yeah, Emerson. Just thought that was funny. I don't know.
Yeah, he had no choice.
And so,
why would you bring that up here?
Sorry.
He had no choice. I mean, it's me versus car.
Yeah. You always have a choice before jumping on a hood, I think. But people in movies don't seem to. So Sean Penn's brother is played by, in this movie, Tommy is his brother's name. Who's
his
he
brother,
played by?
Chris Penn.
Yeah, his real life brother, Chris Penn. So, yeah.
He's got a lovely kind of fro hair in this movie, which is fitting for the time period.
Yeah. So this is like some sort of bizarro prequel to Footloose, or maybe
I didn't think about that.
Maybe
now
sequel,
I'm
like
seriously.
What happens after high school? I don't know.
Oh my God, yeah. So that's he went to go, hang with his brother, and that's his home life, the guy from Footloose.
Yeah. And so anyways, so he's on top of the car, and I mean, just takes his kid for a ride, and finally he gets his this is all about $5 and a bottle of gin. So Sean Penn gets the $5 bottle of gin from the guy, and the guy's like, you're crazy, whatever. So exactly to Misty's point, we see that this guy is pretty fearless, and he sticks up for his family.
I love the way he just hangs on and just doesn't give up. But I kind of like it. I like the way he reaches his hand into the side of the window, the side window, the driver window, and it's like, $5, bottle of gin.
I want my $5. Anyway.
The 80s was all about you owe me scenes, I guess.
Yeah.
Right, but there's something else going on here, because it's mating season,
It is.
Mating season.
It's mating season. It is.
Oh yeah, is this when the kids all gather to the town square and gather around the fountain and kind of wait for their links or hookups? And
yeah. And so
kiss and don't tell.
All the young bucks are in heat. Yeah.
That's why Junior, he turns on the Pepe Le Pew, and he's like he goes to approach Mary Stuart Masterson and her friend.
Yeah, Terry.
And he said, "Y'all want some pills?" And it's
He's
like,
a charmer.
oh yeah.
She's like, "What do they make me do?"
Oh, what a coincidence. I was looking to meet my future ex-husband tonight. That is so weird.
Yeah, let's do drugs, stranger. Yeah.
Yeah, why not? I always take things that people hand me on the street. Why not?
And there's a lot of, we'll see that many times in this movie where someone is given a pill and told to take it, and then they do.
Is he still in high school too? Like I was confused.
No.
No, he's out of high school, I think.
And she's like only 16 in this movie, I think. But in real life, I think she was 15.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some statutory shenanigans going on here. So that already puts me in a weird mood. He's the creeper. He's the creeper that we all knew in high school who was going out with the high school chicks. He's like 20. He doesn't have a job, but he has his own car. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And a really cool car.
Yeah. Well, at first he's driving a beat up old truck, which I guess
that's right.
Is a cool car if no one else has one, right?
Yeah.
And so there's like some Outsiders vibes going on here with Terry Mary Stuart Masterson of just the 80s.
Now,
no
I've watched this
introduction,
movie
some kind of wonderful, you know?
Yeah.
I loved her in that movie.
I was gonna say I've watched this movie many a times, and that didn't occur to me until just watching it recently again. Was like the age difference. I was like, oh my god, the age difference kind of. I didn't really read that until now.
Oh.
Oddly,
it punched me in the face like Sean Penn punching a reporter. I was like, whoa,
ooh, too soon.
Is it?
Oh no, wait, that wasn't. That was about the same year or so.
Yeah. He was dating Madonna, maybe. I think. What was the story there? He was dating Madonna, and then some.
Yeah, he punched a photographer, a paparazzi photographer at that time. Yeah. Or he spit on him, I think, and then punched him.
So Sean Penn, there's a lot of real life Sean Penn angst, I think, that makes it into this movie.
He did have a reputation as a bad boy already at that point in Hollywood, even though he was even though he was able to get this movie going, he was the the shepherd of this movie, like I said, because he was hot at the time.
Yeah. Well, he's a good-looking guy, and he's a great actor, as we're going to see in this movie. So
people loved him as Spicoli.
Yeah.
In Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he basically says, "I'm gonna let's hang out sometime. Let's meet." And then Terry, I almost said Cherry, like from The Outsiders, but Terry is like, okay, yeah. So then we go back to the dilapidated shack where Sean Penn lives with his family, or where Brad is his name, Brad Jr., as we find out.
Brad Jr.
And we get some sweet product placement in a Toyota truck commercial.
You mean for Miller Genuine Draft?
Yes, we also get an MGD plug. Yeah,
and by the way, this podcast
plug.
is brought to you by Miller Lite Classic.
And Toyota and Pepsi.
And nacho-flavored Doritos.
Yeah, please give us money. And so anyway, Crispin Glover is in there, and he's high probably. And he's jealous, and in the middle of breakfast, I guess he's a buddy. He's Brad's buddy. And he drops a GD, a goddamn C word at breakfast. It's kind of early in the morning for dropping the C word.
Did he drop the C bomb? I forgot about that.
Yeah, because he was like, you go after all these pretty girls, and he's clearly jealous.
Yeah. He has that look about him through the whole movie, yeah. Jealous of everyone.
It's just weird old Crispin Glover.
I forgot that. He drops the C bomb, the actual mother of all words. So.
Yeah, and kind of casually for no reason. I don't know. Weird.
The mother of all four-letter words, I should say, yeah.
Yeah. It's the 80s. We get some outdated swears and references for sure. But yeah, he plays Lucas like it matters. But anyway, and then so we see Sean Penn's character Brad's father shows up, who's played by Christopher Walken. This is Brad Sr. Right?
That's right.
Yeah, and good call on that casting, because I can see it.
I can see it.
I found a photo of Brad Jr. and you can see it actually. The way he looks is actually he does look like close to the guy.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like Christopher Walken could be their dad.
Yeah.
You know? He looks like
yeah.
them.
He looks
they look like him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Apparently, in real life, there was a 17-year difference. So, ooh.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Yeah.
But that's also believable that Brad Sr. could have fornicated or had sex with his mom at that age, probably.
It's small
and
town.
Left her. Yeah.
Oh,
That's believable.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, so he asks how old Brad Jr. is, and he's,
How old are you now? How old are you now?
he's like, old enough.
Son.
Which is, yeah, so he's winning the Father of the Year award already, but he's there to drop by and leave some money, I guess, for his mom, who he maybe still has some feelings for. And Jordan, who is the mom? Who plays mom in this movie?
Millie Perkins?
Millie Perkins. And what movie did we last talk about Miss Millie Perkins?
Oh my! That's where I remember her from. Wild in the Streets, 1968, playing the wife of Hal Holbrook's character, Johnny Fergus.
Yeah, and she was sort of in the Monty Hellman director stock company there for a few arty films in the 70s.
That's right. I knew. I was like going, where do I kept thinking she was Kim Darby, and I'm like, that's not Kim Darby. No, who is that? Hey!
Millie Perkins.
Anyway,
and she refuses to age. I don't know. She looks great.
She does. Movie. I mean, for being a mom who's been through a lot, clearly.
Yeah.
Being on her second marriage or whatever marriage,
And they don't give her much to do and say in this movie, unfortunately. But she's there.
Yeah.
Because they need a mom. So Grandma hears about the money and she's like, tells Brad, don't go see your father. And then we get a scene that sort of shows just the boredom, his aimlessness in life. We get some droning, depressing synth music. He's kind of lounging about on the town monument. So he really has no direction.
Well, he was waiting for He was waiting for her again, basically. At that point.
Exactly.
She kind of stood him up.
Mm-hmm.
Being as young girls do.
Yeah. But he's aimless, like I said. He doesn't know. He doesn't want to keep a job, that sort of thing. He's just kind of a shiftless sort of loser, just a kid. I don't know, with no direction.
He's a drifter.
Yeah,
a ne'er-do-well.
And then back at home, we get some sweet Colt 45 product placement.
That's right. Him and his brother Chris Penn smoking that joint and drinking that Colt 45. Brought to you by Colt 45 Malt Liquor. Hi, I'm Billy D. Williams. You know what I like about a Colt 45? The company.
Yeah. Jordan, did you have a joke about that, or?
That was my joke. I'm sorry.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
That one fell flat, I guess.
No, that was it. I thought you said something earlier. Was that Colt?
Can you add a laugh track there later on, just for me?
No, but was that? I thought you had a joke right when we were talking on the phone. Was that Colt 45 you were talking about, or whenever you're?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that happened to me just the other night. Actually, I had an argument with my. I live with my in-laws, and I had an argument with them, and my father-in-law said, "Is that my beer you're drinking?" And I said, "You can't afford Colt 45." As I was sucking in my joint, and then he tossed me out in the yard. No, I just made all that up. I'm sorry. Yes.
We hadn't got to that scene yet. So the Penn brothers there getting high, drinking, and then I just picture this happening whether the camera was rolling or not, really.
It looks real, yeah.
It does. And there's a lot of weed smoking in this movie.
But it's a sweet scene, kind of, in a way, because they're just laughing and watching TV. It's really innocent, really, what they're doing. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
They're just smoking weed, drinking Colt 45, watching TV.
Right.
They're not out doing crime.
Yeah.
Not yet.
And then Mom's boyfriend of the week comes in and is jumping on them because he wants to get some sleep and they're high.
God,
and
what a
making
dick,
noise.
man. Yeah, just...
Well, I mean, he's got to sleep, What, I mean...
Yeah.
Come on.
I
guess.
I guess that, yeah.
No, I say fuck Ernie, okay? Because he throws Junior out, and where's he going to go? And that is the turning point. The groundwork has been laid because the grandmother already told Junior where Senior lives.
Yeah.
So where's he going to go? None of
that's
this
my
would have
point,
happened.
too, is that's where he went
It's
wrong.
all because of Ernie. Fuck Ernie.
Fuck Ernie.
Yeah. He set him on that path. I mean, he tossed him out like that, like he felt like garbage after he got tossed out. So, because he didn't.
Oh, he got all these people killed. It's Ernie.
It's all Ernie's fault.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, but Brad does spit in his face.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, Brad was a dick about it too, though.
I mean, there are no winners here in our domestic violence.
Brad
scenario,
deserves a spanking. No, wait, you can't handle that situation with that, can you?
But that's a good point, Misty. None of this movie wouldn't. Well, I'm sure it would have happened eventually. You get the feeling already he wants to go see what his dad's about.
Yeah,
Maybe
he
there
was
was no
already
stop.
curious.
But we can blame Ernie. Yeah.
Yeah, let's blame Ernie.
And so anyway, later on, he's in the car with Walken. And I know, Misty, you kind of got on this last time about not knowing what the car was in Beyond the Valley of Dolls. So this time they're in a 1969 Camaro Z28.
Look at you! Whoa!
Wow! Look at the knowledge on this guy.
There's a lot of cars in this movie for car buffs. And so anyway, he says, Dad, I hear it's beautiful cars. And he says, I hear you're a thief and you make a lot of money. And then Brad Sr. takes him to his hideout. And then we meet his uncles and some other shady characters, this gang that he's in. And we meet Walken's wife, or not Walken's wife, but I mean Brad Sr.'s wife, who's about 5 years older than Brad, right?
Yeah, he says.
Yeah. And then we meet his other brother, Dale. Who is, sorry, old Newhart reference, who's Patch.
You left out Larry.
Yeah. he's got a couple brothers there, and all these folks look like real degenerate, like small town folks.
They really do in that house. I mean, come on. I think the decorator was Sanford and Son or some shit. Give me a break.
I love the wood paneling. What are you talking about? That's the decorator right there. Oh, and there's also Tracy Walter playing Walken's character's brother.
Patch. Yeah. From Repo Man and everything.
And Batman 1989, Bob.
Yeah.
Gonna need a moment or two alone, Bob.
If you need a shady henchman with long stringy hair and receding hairline, you get Tracy Walter.
It was a crime not to cast Tracy Walter. That's my Gene Shalit sounding.
For my money, it doesn't get any better.
He's great in the role, and read his IMDb page. He's a working actor for sure, boy. So,
and I have to say something here. This is what I love about this movie, mostly, aside from it being dark as hell, dark as a black hole. I mean, the casting is what wins me over about this movie, because it's casting gold. It doesn't get any better, as Misty says. With this combination of like my favorite actors, and supporting actors, in this movie. It's like every good supporting actor ever in this movie, though.
This movie is an ace in the hole for the Kevin Bacon game.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
Because all roads go through at close range here. It's crazy.
Well, I thought the winning Kevin Bacon games were JFK, Sleeper, A Few Good Men. Mainly those are your main cards that you can win with every time. Anyway.
Yeah. So anyways, this is kind of weird. So Patch says, other brother Dale says, Brad went to prison, Brad Sr. went to prison, and Tommy isn't his son because apparently his mom messed around. Was that, did I get that right? Or are they blood related? What's going on here?
No, I think Tommy's a different dad.
That was the suggestion.
Yeah.
And that was really, as soon as that was said, then, Brad Sr. gets pretty offended and says, don't say nothing against the family.
Yeah.
And I do not understand that misdirected chivalry, considering what happens later. I don't know.
Yeah.
What was that?
So I guess, we see that he's clearly all about family and business and family. I mean, he's not a very good dad, and but he's all about family somehow.
Right.
And so anyway, this crew does look shady. I believe this whole, crew of guys as a bunch of robbers. So it's good.
Yeah, they don't look like a bunch of LA actors or anything like that. They look real. I mean, that's what everything in this movie looks real, I will say.
Yeah, and so the next scene, the crew leaves the house. They leave Brad Jr. there, and then they break into a warehouse, cut into a safe, and steal some money. And while they're gone, Brad's flirting with old stepmom there.
Was that what was going on there? It looked like she was, well, I don't know. Man, there was something going on there weird, though. Yeah, wasn't there, that they just kind of hint at?
I think. What do you think, Misty? Was there some weird flirtiness or something going on there? It's mating season. Maybe that's what's going on.
I thought she was flirting with him at first.
It is mating season. I didn't pick up on that, but what I did pick up on is that she just doesn't really have much of a personality. And definitely the whole thing is moving real fast because it's like he just got there. Now they're leaving. Now they're breaking into a safe and they're stealing money.
Yeah.
And we should also mention that during that scene of the robbery, I think that we're kind of trying to establish that Patch what's the actor's name?
Tracy Walter.
Tracy Walter.
Tracy Walter, because Larry Fessenden wasn't old enough yet. I don't know. Yeah, he works, but I think we established that he may not be that reliable, and he's pretty easily distracted.
Yeah, he's the dumb one of the bunch. He's the Fredo of the bunch, I guess.
I think that was just trying to, set that into place. And as far as the exchange between Mary Sue and Junior, it was just brief. They're kind of stuck together.
I noticed, though, her feet were, like, on the other side of the couch, closer to his leg, though, at the end of the scene. Like, when they cut back. That's after she licks her lips after meeting him, like the way they show it. It's just, there's something weird about it. I don't know.
Hi, Brad Jr.
Or is it just me reading too much into the scene? Sorry if I'm that dirty. I don't know.
Some women just kind of have this, kind of a seductive aura, and I think Candy Clark kind of does.
And she basically tells him he looks like a mini-me of Chris Walken. Before there was even a mini-me around reference or an Austin Powers at all. Yeah. She's like, look at Brad Jr. He looks like Brad Jr. here. Looks, Anyway.
Whoa.
Anthony,
did we lose Anthony?
Anthony?
Sorry, I was on mute. Sorry. Yeah, so that happens, and it's...
Wait, did you know you were on mute?
No. Thank you for telling me. I was cracking a bunch of hot jokes. Too bad we'll never get them.
Damn it. We missed it.
Oh, man.
Oh, well. No, not really. But that happens. But they don't really go anywhere with that whole stepmom business.
Yeah.
No, it's just like there's weird things implied, though, it looked like in the scene. Or maybe I'm just reading too much into it. I don't know.
No, I got it, too.
Maybe I have mommy issues. I don't know.
But like Misty was saying, it kind of happens really quickly. But this movie is weird. Like, it'll be slow at parts. It'll really dwell on the scene. And then a bunch of things, quick cuts will happen, like do, and then we're slow again, So.
It's a part of it is the developing slickness of the 80s, the style of, music videos creeping into movies at that point.
Yeah.
I think, honestly. That might have something to do with it.
Yeah, this movie feels like it's in some sort of transitional period here, but it's kind of weird. Anyway, I'll get into that a little later. But so we got a scene where basically Brad Sr. is teaching Brad Jr. about the business. They get this money from, and I like this scene, they get this money from the robbery, and it's in 20s. That's important. They tell us that. And then Walken takes him to this used car lot, and he buys some shitty little... car. Misty, I don't know what that was. It's some sort of Dodge. Boxy 80s Dodge. And then they're doing this to launder money. So he pays X amount of dollars for this car, takes it to another lot, and sells it to him. Basically to get clean cash. And that's interesting because they don't show that piece in movies a lot. They see people stealing money, but then what do you do with it, right? So I thought that was cool.
Thank you so much, because I have it here in my notes that I have no idea what happened in that scene. I don't understand it. I know he called it doing laundry.
Yeah.
But I thank you, because now I get it.
But also, I thought the laundering makes sense. I didn't think about that. But I also thought, too, that he had basically bought that car he literally talked the guy down because he had the money to pay for it right there on the spot.
Yeah.
He talked the guy down like about a few hundred from what the car was on the sticker, and then he took that car across the street and he sold it for like even more so.
Yeah.
I thought that was a part of the con too, basically. I mean, I guess laundering was a part of it as well.
I thought he lost some money on it, but I don't know. It doesn't matter, but I think that's what he's doing, which is interesting. And then back at Brad Jr.'s house, Mom kicks the boyfriend out, and then the Brad goes back to see Terry, and that's when we find out she's 16. It's like, run, Brad. No, bad idea.
Yeah.
We usually do relationship advice for people in movies. I don't want to give these two star-crossed idiots relationship advice. I'm just going to tell Brad, no, sir. No. Shame on you.
No.
Oh, but it's so sweet, Anthony. It's like Romeo and Juliet. And look at him. He's not that mentally much more than her. I mean, come on. Look at him. Emotionally and mentally, he's not the same. He's about the same age as her mentally.
Girls develop much more quickly.
Yeah.
intellectually, so they're the same age.
Yeah, but she's dating a loser with no job. So I don't know that.
No, I agree. She's dating a guy who's like, I mean, short of being a drummer in a band, honestly.
Oh, man.
Right, but I mean, he has his own vehicle, and
True,
which
yeah.
you know what that means. You never have to buy lighters. No, you never, because everyone rides in your car and they drop their lighter in your car, and you. Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
Helpful tips from Misty on acquiring lighters.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't think about that, though. I mean, you know, lighters, you lose them all the time.
Yeah.
I mean...
You do. You lose them in the loser's car, and then he has free lighters for life.
How do we get stuck talking about lighters? We're talking
Check under your
about
seats.
this movie at close range.
Check under your seats, folks. Okay.
You always might have lighter a change down there, though. Yeah, folks. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not helping this conversation get shorter. Okay.
It's like Christmas under your seats, your car seats. So, anyways, so Terry's heard of his father because he's pretty notorious in town. It's funny that he's a notorious thief and everybody knows he's a thief in this movie. Mm-hmm. So anyway, he kisses
the whole
her.
town knows. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. He kisses her and gets her number. This all happens very quickly. She's looking for trouble.
Yeah. They meet like clandestine in the cornfield area of her house where her mom can't see her meeting them. I guess that's why they met there, like near the combine and the corn area where like it's way away from the house and it's a fresh stalk of corn covering everything. So
yeah, this movie should have had like some sort of Springsteen soundtrack. You know,
but it's got the romantic Patrick Leonard Live to Tell theme, sprinkled about through it, which makes it romantic,
And she is emotionally more mature than him, but just making real bad teenage girl in a movie decisions.
No, this is not a good couple, probably, in reality, honestly. This is not a good combination in reality.
But it's a real couple. I can see this happening. I can see in a small town,
yeah.
Options are limited.
Sadly, it happens.
Who are you going to date? Like the high school football star or this guy whose father is a convicted thief who, has his own beat-up truck that breaks down? I don't know, ladies.
I guess to explain it better, though, he is basically emotionally, mentally the same age as her, so that's what, I don't know.
Yeah, he's a little slow.
He's probably not, only a few years technically, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know, I hate to justify it, but yeah, movie character 101. But in the eyes of the law, movie 101, advice for characters, advice to Brad Jr. Brad Jr., what are you doing, buddy? Date girls your own age, man. Come on.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
I don't even have love advice for him. Just get a job and don't go to the old man. Just don't do it. Do what everyone's telling you.
Quit sneaking out of the house to that fountain where the bad kids are hanging out in the town square.
That's right.
Where people are doing all the naughty things like taking pills that make you stronger, make you think you're stronger.
Apparently. Yeah. Quit smoking cigarettes behind the barn and drinking Zimas with your friends.
That's right.
Zima.
Just go to the Catholic mass maybe instead, maybe. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what I'm talking about.
She does need some Jesus in her life. That's a problem here. We've all
She
learned a
needs
lesson.
Jesus.
So anyway, the story's taking its time clearly, and then so back at Brad Senior's house. This is going to get real confusing as we go along.
Brad Senior's
back at Brad Senior, Chris
Walken's character. Yeah.
Other brother Daryl, Patch is trying to get is cut out of the crew, like Misty said, because he's not great. He's Fredo, and so he's trying to get Brad to start his own crew with him and start stealing some things. Lots of things. We could steal lots of things, he says.
We could steal lots of things together. Everything. Look at that. I can spot money anywhere here. I see money everywhere. I don't even know if that's my best Walken. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we see that scene in a little bit. So Brad Sr. Gives him a car. And Misty, it's a 1970 Chevy Chevelle SS.
Wow.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's a sweet car.
Yeah.
And he says... So Senior says to keep away from his brother.
I do love the rides in this movie, I have to say again. Yes,
yeah.
I do love the cars in this movie.
Yeah. He says, keep away from my brother Patch, my other brother Daryl, and then he's like, I want to learn from you. Tell me the business. And he's like, no, go home. So Walken's character tried to push him away. I don't want you part of this business, go away. But he's kind of testing him. Throughout this movie, he's testing him.
Yeah. Did he tell him no because he cared, or did he tell him no because he knew he was going to come back anyway, crawling?
I think he went to the house maybe to suss him out and see the kids. I think maybe he's He's thinking about bringing him on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what we're supposed to get from this.
Because he could groom him into a thief like himself. Like,
yeah.
You know.
But I think there's times he's unsure. As we go through this movie, I think he's unsure at this point. So he's like, and the kid keeps saying and doing stupid things. So he's like, I don't know. So we get a really gross scene of the brothers talking, and Tommy's asking, so what's Dad like? And blah, 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 blah. And Sean Penn is chewing his toenails.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I remember this. I had to look away on this scene because I remember
that
this scene.
is so disgusting.
I don't understand his motivation on that scene. I don't understand what the choice was on that.
But also, could you even do that, like physically? I don't think I could do that.
Nor should people try. That's really, really disgusting. Yeah, I was grossed out and I had to look
You
away
might
too.
pull that thigh muscle right below your buttock area that really hurts when you pull it. You know, I'm just sounding like an old man now.
It takes a lot of yoga to be able to pull that
Right.
off. But once you do, hey, no more nail clippers needed. You could just go right at it with your teeth.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
Right, but
I don't understand why what was the deal with that scene? I don't understand. I still don't understand.
But the point is, he's back home. You know,
Yeah.
he got to go back home because his mom did kick shit ass out.
Yeah.
So fuck Ernie again. But now he's back
okay.
home,
I guess
which
I
is
missed
good.
that. She did
So
kick him
Ernie
out.
is
Yeah.
Ernie's out of the movie. Thank goodness. You know,
yeah.
he sets the plot moving and then he just leaves.
Oh, because it was her house technically. Still, it wasn't his house. He'd only been there a few months.
Grandma's house technically because we're all living with Grandma.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so anyway, after the gross toenail scene, Brad Sr. comes by, picks up Brad Jr. and Tommy, and that's when he tells them about stealing stuff. I see money out here everywhere. How's it go, Jordan?
I see money. I look at all these houses. I see money everywhere. You see houses. I see money. Something like that, yeah. Like, I should have written the dialogue down. I knew I was going to have to. Some of it I had to crank it up, but yeah.
That confusing Cajun backwoods born on the bayou accent.
Yeah. Now
I don't know.
Fun fact, this movie was shot in Tennessee, apparently. 2 different towns in Tennessee. And it was doubling for Pennsylvania still. It was still, and that's, they got the Rolling Rock bottles in there, beer bottles in there for extra measure, as you can see. But there's you don't see a lot of stuff that looks like the South. But you almost wonder if the local accents rubbed off on Walken from hanging out there, and like he was confused as to what geography of movie he was in.
Yeah.
Sometimes with his accent, because you're like, is this a Pennsylvania hick accent that he's doing, or I'm confused. I know they have hicks up north as well, but I'm confused, sir, by your accent.
And sometimes he doesn't even remember to do an accent. He's just walking,
True. Although I do love his Johnny Wad mustache. I'm sorry, his John Holmes mustache. I do love his Walken Frode hair, that looks like...
It looks like a cheeseburger.
It looks like fire if you formed it into a hair, shape. Like a fireplace.
Like a hair hat.
Yeah, an air hat or something. I don't know. It's wild. It's really and yet it's feathery at the same time and shagadelic at the same time.
He's got fantastic like permanent bedhead, Christopher Walken.
You want to know who does my hair? I'll tell you.
The wind.
It's the wind that does my hair. Okay.
And water.
The wind is constant here in Tennessee.
Anyway,
that's my hair.
And a whole lot of Crisco. Anyway, so...
a whole lot of Crisco, yes. Let me tell you about Crisco oil. Not only is it good for cooking, but your hair. It's good for that, too.
And so anyway, speaking of Crisco, they go to a cafe, and he's, talking to the boys, and he just pulls out a freaking gun and lays it on the table. As you do.
My dad did that once in front of me. No big deal. Every dad does that at one point in front of their kids, at a restaurant in the open. Sure, no big deal.
Nah, family time.
Very casual, yeah.
But
nice
this is
gun.
an important scene.
Yeah.
Right? Because now we get introduced to loose-lipped Lester Porowski, the original double agent.
Yeah, this guy, man.
Yeah.
That was such a great scene. I love it.
Oh, yeah. It's about to get uncomfortable here in the movie.
Yeah. And this actor's really good at looking like weaselly.
Yeah, he is. Oh, my God. Good actor. I forgot this guy's name. Who was it playing this part?
Yeah, he was Jake Denigal. I don't know what else he's done.
Oh, Okay.
But anyway, so we get the impression that they were former crime associates. He was in the gang at some point, but then he was an informer. You know, he snitched on him.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Brad Sr. went to prison.
You look at his apparel, too. He's got the plaid suit on, the plaid jacket, the plaid pants, and the dumb hat to go with it, the dumb sun hat to go with it, and the posture crouching constantly like an insect, you know.
Like a little weasel, yeah.
Yeah,
he
like
does
a weasel,
look the part. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's got that jolly neck already, that jolly old neck with it. I mean, it's just like, everything adds to the whole thing, and his delivery, it's just, anyway.
Yeah. So to prove themselves, Brad and Tommy get their buddies, Crispin Glover, Kiefer Sutherland, and Stephen Jeffries, and to go do some crimes. And this is a movie that's very tractor theft centric.
I think it's after one of the other brother. I think it's after Brad Jr.'s brother. I can't remember his name. Suggests like, oh, we can get some guys together. We know some stuff or something like that. That they get together, his friends, his cronies to help out. Yeah. Brad Jr.'s cronies.
And then we get some tractor stealing scenes with some real weird cinematography choices, some real off kilter handheld camera work, and I don't know. Anyway, it's not consistent, this movie. It kind of bugs me. But
really, I love the camera work in this movie. Honestly, I love the look of this movie. I'm not gonna lie. Every frame of it, I love the look of it.
I think there's some second unit shots or something. This looks like second unit stuff because normally it has this cool noir sort of shot framing and lighting at times. So it's a pretty well shot movie. And then you have sometimes weird editing. Like I said, some scenes are cut real short and others are left to dwell till the end of time. And then you have like weird second unit camera work that just, maybe that's what it is.
Maybe it's because I'm a big fan of the way a Ridley Scott movie looks and a Tony Scott movie looked. And maybe I think they were probably influenced by the look of that time, which was very Ridley Scott, Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Where you shoot people against lights, like headlights. They walk in front of lights. And it was probably influenced by the look of Blood Simple, it looks like, even.
Yeah. It's sort of noir sort of feeling here.
And then every interior, you fog up the room so you get every accent of light. Use the fog as diffusion.
Yeah.
It always adds nice... Fog always adds nice diffusion, but it takes a lot of fucking fog to get that look.
A lot of natural light, yeah. But anyways, so Brad Sr. comes and buys the tractors that they stole, and then Brad goes to buy Terry a necklace. And then we get another stealing of tractors montage. And then a farmer catches them and shoots at them. And then what happens, Misty?
Well, a Junior got shot in the face.
Ouch.
That ends up, but he's okay, but that leads to him spending the night with Terry. And to me, everything that is showing these boys going out and doing these jobs on their own, to me, it just feels like you got to think this whole operation, Brad Sr.'s operation, is a house of cards. And so if these boys get busted, then that's going to bring a lot of heat to his situation. But anyway, so
they know too much.
Well, that was after he goes to her house too after Brad Sr. tells him, because he goes to Brad Sr. for help, and
because
Brad
he
Sr. says, "Go find your woman."
Yeah.
Yeah, go, and I guess
go to your woman.
It seems like her mom must work nights, and he spends the night, and then Terry's mom comes in, and we just hear this voice from downstairs saying, "You guys get dressed and get down here in 5 minutes."
Yeah.
Instead, they just jump out the window and run off together.
Yeah. That's exactly what happens, and he was shot by birdshot, so they're picking pellets out of his face, but I still think they'd be a little deeper than on the surface. I don't know. He's got some thick skin. I don't know, but anyway,
depends on where you shot it. I mean,
I don't know. I'm not a ballistic expert, but
back when I was shot in the face with one, it was like that.
Right.
And it was because the guy got me at that. No, I'm just kidding.
I guess it depends on whether it was at close range or not.
Ooh,
we have a title, yes. As they say on Mystery Science Theater.
But basically, in this movie, it's just like popping zits, getting bird shot out of your face.
Speaking of, I have to interject. Misty says the title at close range. This movie came out the same year as Top Gun, and I do remember a critic writing an article where they said the title should have been reversed because there was so much gunplay in At Close Range. They should have just called the movie Top Gun.
Yeah.
And At Close Range made more sense for the movie Top Gun because, look, trying to get the enemy in your sighting kind of thing, the enemy jet in your sighting.
Yeah.
You got them at close range.
Yeah. We're at close range to Walken's accent in this movie, for sure.
That's right. Go to your woman.
There are fewer guns than...
Go to her.
So, basically, they sneak out, and girl, I mean, you're beyond any kind of advice at this point, but the guy comes to your place shot in the face. I mean, come on. Seriously. I know it's a small town, but come on. And I know it's mating season, but please.
But come on, Anthony, it's so romantic. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
So what's really romantic is they all go to the quarry and they go swimming and get high and drink beer.
I like this scene because I was doing the same thing, like on my couch watching this. So, it was a nice moment from the movie to
swimming.
Chill. No, get high and drink beer watching the movie.
Okay.
And I was laughing too, and I was like, "Wow, this is really a moment to let go in the movie, to get away from the darkness of the movie." For me, the audience as well. Like I'm spending time with these kids,
Yeah.
In the quarry, getting high, drinking beer.
Like I just picture Jordan with a kiddie pool in his living room.
Okay, there was that. Yes, there was that.
And he's like, finally, the setup paid off.
I had my floaties in case I fell asleep, after all the drinking. I had my floaties on so I wouldn't drown. But
yeah, that's a leading cause of death: people drowning in kiddie pools.
But it added a dimension to this movie like never before, honestly. And
but it was fun. This scene was actually fun. And
it looks beautiful. I love the soundtrack in this scene. I love the Patrick Leonard guitar music version of the Live to Tell theme again.
Yeah.
Honestly, I really do. It's beautiful. You see Kiefer again, and he's got black hair in this movie.
Everyone's hair is wrong in this movie. Crispin Glover has red hair, except for the Penn
Sean
brothers.
Penn's hair is bleached. I mean,
yeah, everyone's got a weird hair color or is wearing a wig or something. I don't understand why. Why can't people have their own hair? I guess they're trying to make them look like the people in real life or something. Yeah. Maybe that's
which they did.
Yeah. So anyway, Brad, he's making out with Terry. He says that they want to run. He wants to run off with her.
Yeah.
And we kind
of. Wait. Can I mention something in this scene? The way Crispin Glover looks. Crispin Glover looks really drugged out in this scene, and it just shows you're wondering, does this guy's character ever not look drugged out? You see his pupils dilated with his guy liner surrounding it, bordering it. And he's just spinning in that raft next to Sean Penn. And once again, he looks jealous of the situation.
Mm-hmm. He looks very resentful.
Very resentful, but yeah, he looks really drugged out. Yeah, and hurt. Yeah. It's weird. Oh, man, his character's a trip. I mean, I'm not saying this in a bad way. I love Crispin Glover. He's fascinating to watch as an actor. Yeah, always.
Me too.
Always.
But he's very Crispin Glover in this role.
Yeah.
What I mean?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, what is his character? Is his character of course, all of Sean Penn's characters' friends looked drugged out all the time as well.
I wondered in this scene if they were really smoking weed.
I think they were.
Yeah, because I
bet money
Chris Penn looks high as hell. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, Brad wants to run off with Terry, and we sort of see history. We get a sense that history is repeating itself here with what happened with Brad Sr. and Brad Jr.'s mom. A smooth guy comes in with a little bit of money and seduces a good girl, so to speak, who makes bad decisions. And then Brad takes Terry to a bar to see Senior and the crew. Mm-hmm. This is all bad decisions, all of this.
He's just taking her to meet Dad, Anthony. Jeez.
Crime boss dad. I want you to meet my dad. He's a crime boss. Why do I have a New York accent in rural Tennessee? I don't know,
He might have killed people. He might have stole from people. Yeah, that's my dad.
My dad, the criminal mastermind. And so he says that Brad Jr. says that he and Terry want to get a place, and then he wants to join the gang. And Brad Sr. says the gang is like a family. Basically, he says no. And then what does Terry do? What does she say, Misty?
She gets really upset and says, fine, you don't have to let him in, but he's better than you. And it's just, the whole thing is a really bad look because everybody's there and they're all sitting around, and it's kind of
It's
really
public.
unprofessional.
Yeah, it's unprofessional. He's disrespected in front of all of his men, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the code of the family with this guy too, apparently.
This does have mafia vibes,
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
it's that whole Cosa Nostra sort of,
But honestly, I read up on this, and this was even like sort of, I think this was a tagline in some Australian promotion. But Walken's character Whitewood, Brad Whitewood Sr., is basically, his whole code is about his business of stealing.
Yeah.
And if you go against that in any way, in his crew in any way, be it son, wife, whoever, you're going down. It doesn't matter. You're gonna pay.
Yeah.
In a hard way.
Mm-hmm.
This movie is a very heavy-handed morality tale. Feels like a play at times, almost. Sometimes with the dialogue.
It looks like a play.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel like
With
that
all
too.
that crazy lighting and stuff.
It's got a classic archetypal sense going on to it, because these are classic father and son archetypes anyway.
Yeah.
And then you have these two acting titans at the time.
But it does, I don't know, some of the dialogue in the scenes, it does feel like a play. Not necessarily in this scene, but just there are times when it just feels very stagey and in one room and people are reading dialogue kind of thing. But then there are scenes that are fantastically acted. So it's really strange. Some weird script stuff going on here. But then anyway, so he basically tells everybody to leave, and then he tells Brad Jr., ditch the girl and just go home, get out of here. But then later, he brings him back on for a job to try him out. I didn't understand that transition.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, when he dismissed him from the bar, he did say, he said, don't ever do that again, but don't worry, everything's going to work out.
Yeah.
So I think that he is still thinking, that maybe he could bring him on, but there just needs to be some changes in behavior.
Yeah.
We need to understand who's boss, and we definitely need to understand some lessons about respect.
Yeah. And ditch that girl because,
Yeah.
he's, like you said, he's looking for weaknesses in the chain, right? He's looking for, he wants to protect his enterprise, and he sees the girl as a potential, issue for him.
Yeah.
Because she knows too much already. This guy's told his girlfriend basically all about his business and then brings him to his bar, and then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, that's this whole guy's coda, is his whole modus operandi is, if you affect... What he means when he says family is not the same thing. He's not talking about blood. He's not talking about brother even, or a spiritual brother. He's not even talking about that. He's talking about family as in his operation. His operation of stealing, his business.
His criminal family, so yeah.
Yeah, his criminal family. If you go against that, if you affect it in any way, which is going to be affecting the economic level of it for him in some way, he feels threatened, you're going to go down for it.
Yeah. So he's kind of bringing him on at this point, and then later on they're all in a restaurant after they pull a heist, and they see Detective Mosker, this guy who works for the police department, obviously, and Lester is talking to him in this restaurant. And then
damn Lester.
Damn Lester. Snitch. Snitches get stitches, Lester, because outside he tries to explain, hey, I know that looked bad, but... And then he tells them that the FBI's in town, and they're having a grand jury convened to try to, bring up some charges for them. They must have some evidence to try to put him away. And then they take Lester for a little drive. And what happens, Misty?
Well, they give him a lot of, it looks like they're drinking straight liquor out of the bottle and pills, and kind of trying to get as much information as they can out of him and just get him drugged up. And then they pull over to the side of the road, and he's saying that maybe he's not feeling so well. And so they say, well, look, we're going to go out to this lake and splash some water on your face. And so the one guy, Dickie, takes him out into the water, and it's just cold. I mean, to me, this scene is devastating, and it's also gorgeous.
Yeah.
Too.
It's well shot.
The way it's shot.
It looks gorgeous.
And so Dickie easily drowns Lester because,
Hold on, I thought it was Brad Sr. drowning him.
Brad Sr. is standing on the shore.
Yeah,
And
he's standing by
so-
watching.
Okay.
He's got his other two guys doing it on this
Okay.
one.
Yeah.
So Brad
And-
Senior
and,
standing on shore. Yeah, I gotcha.
But yeah, it's just Dickie. He takes him out and he puts his head under, and of course Lester is like, "Whoa, what the what?" And he forces his head into the water, basically.
And that's pretty horrific because he's screaming as he, you know what I mean? It's
And he does it with one hand, and he's smoking a cigarette with the other.
Yeah, he lights
And-
up while he's doing it, which is fucked up.
Yeah. And, you know, that's kind of a really, when you think about it, it's kind of a good lesson for Junior to see this. Because if he's going to do this, he needs to understand that, you know, there might be murder from time to time.
murder from time to time.
You know, this isn't just about stealing, and he needs to understand that.
Why do you sound like an after-school special just now, Misty,
Exactly.
with your voice?
I did.
He needs to understand that, you know, people have to die in this business, and that's just a part of the business. And maybe you may not like that. Maybe you're not comfortable with it. I don't know. But Daddy's trying to make you understand, Brad Jr. Understand? Okay, I'm sorry.
Helpful criminal tips from Misty. Murder happens from time to time. But yeah, and it's really creepy because it's kind of horrific there as Lester gets drowned, and then Walken very creepily turns to Brad, and what does he do?
This moment.
He just shh.
He puts his finger to his lips and is like shh, and just in one of the creepiest moments I think ever, Christopher Walken has portrayed there. Anyway,
Yeah, that was intense.
And it's like a go to bed kind of shush, you know, like you didn't see nothing kind of shush. You go to bed.
yeah. So anyway, later on, Brad is back at his mom's house and he's talking to his brother. And after seeing that, he really is having second thoughts. He wants to get a job. He's like,
They're
I don't know
fixing a
about
truck,
this.
his truck, right?
Fixing that old truck. He's not driving Dad's car, or the car that Dad gave him.
Yeah.
He mentions that someone got killed, and Tommy's like, someone got killed? You know? And then he's like, that crew and his people, they're bad people. He's like,
I was just laughing the way you did, Tommy. Someone got killed?
Someone got killed, though? What's that, squirrel? You know, I don't know.
He was played by Goofy from a Disney character.
So anyway, then Dad rolls up in a 71 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme, Misty.
Hey, boys. How you doing today?
So he comes and picks the kids up for the day.
And he buys weed from them, too. And he's like, you know,
Yeah.
give me some of that wacky tobacco. And they're like, how much? 20. No, 40. Yo. What is that? I forgot what he says. Fuck, I can't remember the line. God
He says,
damn
like,
it.
you're a thief. Or something like
You're a
that.
You're a
thief like your
bone
old...
thief.
That's right. You're a born thief like your old man. Something like that. I don't know.
And then Brad Jr. says he doesn't want to go out and do crimes. And then basically that's when, like, Brad Sr.'s like, well, you're too dumb to go straight, and you're going to be back to me for money at some point.
And by the way, they bought that much weed for 40. I just wanted to say that was a bargain still, by the way, even for 1978 terms. That looked like an ounce of fucking weed right there that he bought. Anyway, go
yeah,
ahead.
and Tommy just had all that weed just hanging out. Like, I guess I'll go in and get some weed.
That's their side business, I guess, is they sell weed. I mean, that makes sense. Small town, they sell weed, you know.
Yeah, they smoke enough of it. They do enough quantity, they might as well, huh?
Yeah.
So Brad Jr. is talking to Terry, and he says, you know, we need to get out of here. And she says they can live with her uncle in Montana, that she loves him, she wants to have a baby. And then there's a bunch of, like, noir little transition-y shots as he's thinking, he's contemplating, and then music happens, synth music.
That was my synth impression.
There's a lot of synth here, so if you love 80s synth, you are going to love this film.
If you love 80s synth, you buy the At Close Range soundtrack right now by Patrick Leonard. Next on Movie Tunes, we'll hear the song by Madonna called Live to Tell.
Yeah, it's a lot of a cat walking on a keyboard. Good stuff.
Oh, man. Patrick Leonard is hemorrhaging right now.
So Brad Jr.
Ouch.
gives himself a
It's
really...
not that bad. It's good. I love the
not bad.
music.
It's
Even
not
I'm critical.
bad.
And
It's not bad. For 80s synth soundtracks, it's really not that bad.
I make jokes. I like the soundtrack. I like the theme song. Even we'll get to it in a sec if you want to talk about it.
So then Brad Jr. gives himself a little jailhouse tattoo with a heart and a T in it, for Terry.
Is not, that's borderline bad idea, as you all know. I mean, if you get a tattoo of your lover or your spouse's name, that's the end of your relationship generally. It's like a bad omen for some reason in the universe. I don't know why. And if you want examples, I will give you famous examples. Johnny Depp tattooed Winona Ryder on himself and later had to change it after they broke up to Wino Forever.
Yeah, he changed it to Amber Heard, and we see how that went.
Billy Bob and Angelina. Yeah, that actually happened. They were actually an item at one point, folks.
They used to
they
wear
had each other's names tattooed, and they wore each other's blood. Yes,
blood. Yeah, and vials. That's cool. That's
vials of blood.
That's grosser than chewing your toenails. Ugh.
Anyway, I'm saying bad character advice to movie character once again. Dude, don't tattoo. Not even your lover's initial. No. It's only okay if you tattoo your kid's name on yourself. Will not be a bad omen. But if it's your lover or spouse, I'm sorry, that's the end. Anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, Brad Jr. and the gang, the Kitty gang there, they go off and they steal some tractors off a tractor lot.
That's right.
And then they get busted by the cops and go to jail. After earlier they heard Lester say that the FBI's in town looking for tractor theft. Stupid.
Yeah. You know what the funny thing is, too, about the tractor stealing is that was common for real. And maybe it's that area of Pennsylvania having a lot of tractors or something. I don't know. The guy that this was based on in real life, the senior, they were stealing a lot of tractors amongst the things they were actually stealing. And apparently, too, they would also use police scanners in real life and walkie-talkies. And they would listen to police scanners and they would call in phony reports to make the police go elsewhere from where they were actually stealing from, apparently.
Yeah, this crew is quite sophisticated.
Yeah, I think we get barely a touch of that in the movie when you see them with walkie-talkies, but anyway.
Yeah, I like those tractor heist scenes.
But this is before the days of cell phones, folks, so I mean they would use walkie-talkies on a heist to communicate quietly.
Anyway, so they already know that this area is hot, and they've stolen half the other tractors in town, so that's kind of dumb. I get it, they're kids, but that's pretty dumb.
They stole half the other tractors in town. What else you gonna steal?
I know. Not some tractors. How about that?
Are you going over to Spradlin Chevrolet and steal all the Chevrolets off the lot after that? What are you gonna do?
Yeah, something.
Movie villains.
I don't know, because Brad Sr. says the tractors are hot. They're gonna lay off the tractors, right? But then no, they just got to have those tractors, and then they all get bailed out of jail except for Brad, who's still in jail. Mm-hmm. Then we get a cockfighting scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but don't worry; those are not real. Those are movie chickens left over from the Dark Crystal. Skeksis. They're innocent.
It looks realistic. It really does.
No animals were harmed in this movie except for the chickens in a real cockfighting scene. That was real cockfighting, Misty. I don't know.
No, I don't like that.
Okay, no, it wasn't. Yes. Yeah, they were. They were.
It wasn't real. I don't know. I hope it's leftover footage from Day of the Locust from 1975.
It's a leftover from the Millie Perkins movie Cockfighter, with more notes. I think she was in that one too. Anyway, so yeah, a lot of cockfighting happens, and then at the cockfight, Brad Sr. is talking to an undercover cop and asks him, hey, what's up with this FBI stuff and all the stuff his son said. And he's like, yeah, that's all true. The cops are here, and your son's not talking. Then Terry goes to see Brad Sr., and she says, are you going to go see Brad? I want to go with you. And then he's like, Walken says, well, basically, I don't know. He might be a snitch. And then later on, we see an unnecessarily brief scene of Brad interrogated in jail, sort of, and he's not giving up any information on his pops and the gang. And then Brad Sr. goes to the house and wants to give Grandma $12,000 in cash, presumably to bail him out and to keep him quiet, and she doesn't want to take it. So Misty, I mean, just like Ernie kind of screwed up this movie, I don't know, maybe Grandma made a choice she shouldn't have made there. If we're already in the middle of this criminal enterprise stuff, maybe take the money and be quiet,
I think so too. I think it was a really fateful scene, because we know what happens next.
Yeah. And what happens next is this movie picks up steam. So
oh, you talking about this really uncomfortable scene that's coming up?
Yes.
with Brad Senior and
yeah. So Brad Senior takes Crispin Glover's character. I don't know, because I guess Crispin Glover. At this point,
just to make it more uncomfortable.
Lucas,
his character, to throw it in the mix.
Yeah, they pick up Terry under the guise of, hey, we're going to go and we're going to take you to jail. We're going to go talk. We're going to go to jail and we're going to go see Brad. We want you to come with us. And instead, they start giving her, liquor to drink, and then she gets drunk. Give her some pills, and then they take her to a motel room. And then Misty, what happens in this motel room?
Well, the only thing I can figure is that Senior is just trying to really assert control over the situation, because I don't understand why. I really don't understand why, but he actually rapes Terry.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
I think that happened in real life. Well, Brad's character, or real life
I think
character,
it did, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think sort of the reason why he makes certain decisions like this movie is because of that, in real life. I wasn't, I don't know all the details, but that apparently did really happen.
The real guy had committed a lot of thefts and a lot of shit was finally piling up on him legally. Yeah. Before even that happened. And yeah, that's what this movie's reflecting, is all this shit's piling up. And this is just only part of it, what he just did. What he's doing in this scene is only a bad part of it that he's probably got to fix later on as well.
Yeah. And Walken in this scene is fantastic. He's powerful. He's intimidating her. He says she knows too much. He's like beating her up, and then he rapes her.
God, it's creepy. They spare you a lot of stuff, luckily, but it still gets under your skin, this scene. It's still uncomfortable, the way he corners her. You feel like you're in her shoes in this scene, though, I feel like. And that's the innocence of this scene, at least. Not innocence, I can't say innocence. That's a worst word ever. That's at least the okay scene of the okay part of this scene is it leaves a lot to the imagination. Mm-hmm. And they kick Crispin Glover's character out of the situation. And of course, who would you want in a situation to be right next to you other than a weird Crispin Glover character in a situation? Not like anybody else. Yeah.
He just ups the level of weird. So,
yeah.
And also, this is not smart in a hotel room. She's screaming and they're, making noise. I don't know. Not smart in a hotel room. But guys, why did we pick this movie? We're getting this horrible rape scene.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Is that what you were thinking when you were watching it? You were like, why are we doing
this movie? I've never seen it before, and it's a very good movie. But at this point, I was like, what is happening here in this movie? God. It goes downhill from here.
I don't know. I thought the film noir aspects of the movie, but I did forget about the seedier aspects when I was thinking about talking about this movie on our podcast.
Yeah, because it just gets, it's not a bad movie, but it just continues to get seedier, so to speak, Jordan. It just okay, so Terry is, I'm kidding. It's a good movie, but then Terry tells her mom.
No, you're right. Not enough humor unless you're you laugh at Walken every now and then, but he's still creepy and he's still great,
Yeah, I didn't have many jokes or anything to bring. What's funny about this rape scene? Oh, nothing. Because it's a rape scene.
No, and I don't like scenes like this in movies, honestly.
Yeah, that's why it also feels like a 70s movie. Every 70s movie had to have a rape scene.
I'm glad, though, that they really do cut around stuff, at least, I will say.
No, they don't show it, but it's implied.
They imply more this scene, but it's still enough to get under your skin, though. Don't get me wrong. Anyway, Misty, what are your thoughts? I'm sorry.
To me, this was so dark that I literally did not know what happened, because I just couldn't accept it. And I had to have my mom explain it to me, because I was like, well, wait, what happened? He beat her up? What happened?
Oh, you mean back when you saw it as a kid on video?
Yeah, when I was a kid, because
I
didn't get that. I just, because it's too...
Because they cut away so much?
Well, because it's just too hard to accept. I don't understand why he would do that.
Yeah.
It's like, he's a grown-up, and she's a kid. And what exactly is he trying to do? Because he should be trying to protect himself.
Yeah.
And this is not protecting him, because she immediately is going to go tell Junior, which she does. And then what do you think he's going to do? It's almost like he's forcing his hand.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if it's almost a test or something,
Oh, right.
I don't know,
Oh,
but I think he's
God.
trying to shut her up, and then that's what. I don't think he wants to kill her.
Is he manipulating the situation in just the most sadistic, sadomasochistic and sadistic way, basically, I guess, you know?
I think he has an ego, and it's all about, that's the thing here. He has this
Yeah.
tremendous ego, and he wants everyone to submit to his will. He's the leader here.
Asserting dominance.
Yeah, and that's what rape is all about, And I think he's using rape as a tool here, like to keep her quiet and whatever. And I'm sorry, Misty, that you had that terrible conversation with your mother.
I hope this wasn't traumatic for you, this movie.
No.
Now I feel bad for recommending this movie.
This childhood trauma moment was brought to you by Colt 45. Colt 45. Mommy, what does this mean?
You know what I like about a Colt 45? The company. Oh, god damn, that was inappropriate. I'm sorry.
Cut that.
I was merely quoting a Colt 45 commercial. Sorry.
Like, she tells Brad what happened, and we get some good Sean Penn crying. Sean Penn is a good movie crier, I will say.
It's real, man. It reminds me of James Dean or any New York actor.
I wanted more of that scene. They kind of cut to it. There's no dialogue. There's just music. I really wanted to see her tell him and him react. I think that was a missed opportunity there.
Oh, and him react more to it?
Yeah.
And be more angry and being pissed off and, being like furious. Like, what the, my own blood did that too.
Yeah.
Because that would be me. I mean, but then I don't know how I'd react. I don't know if I'd be, but he might be just shell-shocked as well and just shocked.
Yeah. But really? Really? He's seen his father kill somebody. Really? Is it that shocking?
Yeah. I would feel guilty too. I'd feel like it was my fault for getting her near.
Yeah.
Well, it is his fault, and he should feel guilty, and he's in jail for doing things. So, yeah, crime doesn't pay, kids. So anyway, Chris Penn, Tommy gets a summons for the grand jury to testify about all these crimes, and the cops are closing in, right? And then Walken's character, Brad Sr., is getting the gang together, and then they start taking care of business.
Getting the gang together.
Let's get the gang together. And then they, what do they start doing now? Misty.
Oh, well, I mean, there was that really creepy scene. Well, that takes place after. So first we see them digging holes, and they lure the boys out one by one to the site where the holes are and shoot them and bury them, except for Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah.
Yeah, why did he not get it? You never see him dragged out. Well, I guess because he was barely involved. I guess he wasn't involved as much, really.
Maybe his phone was disconnected or something.
Yeah, he wasn't for some reason. I guess that happened in real life. Yeah, he was out of town. I got a fever, and the only cure is more holes. More dead bodies.
We couldn't find a spot for you in this movie to be killed. I'm sorry. So you're just going to have to remain in the background and be at the trial at the end of the movie. Sorry. So, you're just going to have to react. You're not going to have any dialogue either. I'm sorry.
But it's awful. Like, I love these scenes, how they're bringing these dumb idiot kids out like lambs to the slaughter, and just kill them one by one. Like,
it looks so creepy the way they do it. Like, at one point you see the flash of the muzzle. You just see them, the flashlight and the flash that they're killing them like the way you kill an animal illegally,
And then Evil Ed says, "Is that a real gun?" Boom.
Yeah.
And then Brad Sr. brings Tommy out there.
This is so sad and creepy too.
And asks him, he's like, "What would you say to the grand jury if you were, if you were brought before them? Would you testify?" And then what happens, Misty?
Well, I mean, Senior tells a long story about coyotes, and I guess
that's right,
coyotes.
When they mate, it's almost like he's quoting the Stone Temple Pilots song "Blush" here.
It feels.
The dogs can smell her. When the dogs can smell her tomorrow, where do you go?
And it's a beautiful scene, and this is one of those scenes that really does look like a play to me.
Yeah.
Because the characters start off with their face in darkness, and then a light moves onto their face and illuminates their face when they start talking, just like in a play. And almost for a moment, doesn't it feel like he is being a father, like he's telling a story, to his son? And also, his son, you can see it in his face that he knows what's coming, you know?
Yeah.
He knows what's about to happen. And I guess we don't see it. We're not aware of it, but there's already a gun pointed at him, I think, at this point, because we're only seeing their faces. And so that's why Tommy just says, Dad, and he kind of cries it. He's kind of crying. And
that's
then,
why it's heartbreaking, I think, too.
Yeah.
it is. And just their eyes, their blue eyes.
And Chris Penn is so good in this scene. And I mean,
Yeah.
Walken is, of course, always, but Chris Penn
so
really.
good.
Chris Penn, talk about having a good death scene in a movie and doing it well in this moment. Chris
Yeah.
Penn really sells it, man. I mean, just really.
It was amazing. And,
it's almost like he's doing it out with a flashlight on him, too. You know?
And he didn't have to, there's no body language involved. This is just their faces. And then, of course, Brad Sr. just shoots him, and we don't
Point
really
blank.
see anything, but
Boom.
we're aware of it.
Yeah.
I mean, he is this movie's Fredo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the other part of it, yeah.
Yeah, he kind of goes out like Fredo,
Oh,
so,
yeah.
But anyway, so that's a fantastic scene. There are poignant moments in this film. I almost wish they gave a little more air to. They're good, but it's just a little more. Just a tiny bit more, a little dash of salt in some of these scenes, I think. But that's a good one. So Brad Jr. is telling the cops about Lester's murder, and then he wants to make a deal so he can get out.
Apparently, too, one of the assistant DAs is the director.
Oh, really?
In some of these scenes, in one of these scenes, yeah.
Oh.
Fun fact.
And so he and Terry make a plan to leave and go to Montana. And they're talking to Grandma, and Mom asks where Tommy's been, and Grandma's like, "Don't think about him no more. Don't think about Tommy no more."
Anthony, I'm going to give you an Oscar right now for that.
I know.
That touching, the way you reenacted that touching scene.
It's kind of cold because it's like Grandma knows this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, Grandma is also played by Eileen Ryan, just a fantastic actress who was also the mother of Sean Penn and Chris Penn.
Oh, in
right?
real life?
Really?
In real life.
I didn't realize that. Oh, she was married. Oh, she had his father, I know, was the director, Leo Penn. Who came in, who actually, he directed a Star Trek episode even, I noticed, but he was a big director in television, apparently. So I guess she was the mother then to Leo Penn's father. Wow.
Yeah. Hollywood nepotism strikes again.
But, it's funny. We just reviewed Scrooged right before this, where there was a lot of nepotism going on. How did this happen?
Yeah. Funny. Let's see. We get all of the...
We had all the Murrays in a
brothers.
movie. And the Murray brothers in a movie, yeah. Now we have all the Penns in
Now
this
we have
movie.
all the Penns.
And their mother. All the Penns and the mother in this movie, yo.
So Sean Penn's like, I won't do this movie unless you get my fakakta brother Chris and my mother into this film.
You joke, but I'm pretty sure that's the way it happened from what I understand, because Sean Penn
Really?
Once again, Sean Penn was the hand that made this movie happen because he was hot at the time.
Yeah.
This is after Fast Times at Ridgemont High, after Falcon and Snowman, after Racing with the Moon.
Yeah, but she's great, and I think I like Chris Penn, so whatever,
Oh,
Good.
he was great in Reservoir Dogs, even.
He's great at playing
Just great
Sean
as an
Penn's
actor.
brother. Yeah, as well. Anyway, so then, so he wants to make a deal, and Grandma and Mom are just like, all about, them leaving. Yeah, get out of here. And then we get some boobs out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah, they're in a topless bar, yeah.
We get a low-rent strip club scene with wood paneling.
Brad Sr. and a couple of his men at a strip club.
And then we get a Pepsi commercial, because it's been a while.
Come on and have a Pepsi day. Yeah.
Pepsi, the choice of a new generation.
So this, it's been a while since we've had some product placement. And then we see Brad Jr. at home after the Pepsi commercial, sitting there talking to his mom and his grandma. He's packed up his things in a trunk, and they're leaving with Terry.
Oh, yeah.
Then Terry goes to her house. They go to her house to get her things.
We finally see the inside of her house, but no mother still.
No
She
mother.
just leaves a note for her.
Where is this mother? Uncredited.
This is an absentee mother. Like Child Services probably should have been called at this point. Child Protective Services.
But we see her home, and it's a big, nice home.
Man, is it nice? It's a nice plantation kind of home, old-fashioned colonial home from that neck of the woods.
From Tennessee. And I don't know about rural Pennsylvania. Maybe, I don't know.
No, it's Pennsylvania, Anthony. It's set in Pennsylvania. They said it's in Pennsylvania, so it's in Pennsylvania. They have corn there.
And so, anyway, big nice home. She's a rich girl. So, yeah. She likes the bad boys, you know.
You can almost hear the Tom Petty song playing right over this scene, yeah. 'Cause all the bad boys in Chesterfield, Pennsylvania, they're around the fountain, and they're breaking her heart. I'm at close range.
All right. They're stealing tractors, just like my daddy.
Are we going to get sued for that song now? Shit.
Oh, yeah.
Is the Petty estate going to sue us now?
So I'm glad we had that little moment of levity, because what happens when Terry gets her stuff and gets in the car? Misty.
Okay, well, they're ready to go. You know, Junior's been working on the car. He's going to make sure that they can drive all the way. And then she gets into the car and she says, "Oh, I forgot to feed the dog." And then just that instant, then that's when, she gets blown away. There is a gun pointed at her through her window. You kind of see a dark figure. You don't really see who's doing it. Mm-hmm. But they both get shot. And in her case, it's fatal. In his case, he gets just filled full of holes, but he is still alive.
Yeah, they're riddled with bullets.
Yeah, that's...
like Bonnie and Clyde style. Instead of getting a scene where he's holding her lifeless body and getting that moment, we don't get that. You know, we don't see that. He just gets out of the car, and we get a series of, after this traumatic scene that comes out of nowhere.
But I want to point out, though, in that moment, when they shot this scene, I'm going to point out behind-the-scenes moment here, 101. Apparently, when they shot, I dug this, I remember this from an old film article from American Film Magazine, I think it was. But Sean Penn was operating the ketchup bottle in this scene, centered, because he wanted the blood to squirt like perfectly at the window towards Mary Stuart Masterson. Yeah. And I think he controlled the blood when he's stepping out of the car and he's squirting, and you see the blood drops onto his boots, and you just see his boots in the scene. I think he's operating the blood dripping there as well with the ketchup bottle. So just Sean Penn just going all the way in this scene. You got to give it to him for working hard as an actor. Just saying.
Working hard as an actor and actually wanting that second paycheck for being part of the crew effects team.
Wanting the blood to go the right direction.
I mean, yeah, he's very. He's a serious actor, so I appreciate that.
Maybe it's a bit hands-on. Maybe.
No, that's great, but I just don't. I don't know. We just see his bloody boots and a few artful close shots.
Oh, okay. Oh, fun fact about this moment, though. If you want to...
Really? Is this really a fun fact, Jordan? Is this a fun fact?
This is actually about the reality of what happened outside the movie to the actual Bruce Jr. in real life. He got 9 bullets in him, and yet his girlfriend, 15, got 1 bullet in her, and it killed her. But he got 9 bullets in him and survived, actually.
Yeah, he had a few in his head, too. I mean, he was... They were shot.
He lived after this, though, apparently, and he lived to be able to walk, and
Yeah, so amazing, but I mean, then I don't know. I guess this movie's trying to be a little avant-garde here, but we get this series of shots and
or he's wiping off the bullets.
He's washing off. You see the bullet holes.
Washing off the blood. Yeah.
You see a hose. He turns the water on with his bloody hand. He washes his boots off. He washes his wounds, and we don't see his face. And we don't ever see Terry again. We don't. You know what I mean? We're just we go to this scene with the series of shots, which is interesting. But I don't know. I just wanted to see more. Once again.
But we had to wrap up the movie here, Anthony. Okay.
Okay, I got you. The movie's already 2 hours long.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
No, we needed a bunch of scenes in the beginning where everyone's just farting around doing nothing. we can't have 2 seconds of him holding Terry and crying or something. I don't know.
No.
Oh, you mean you felt like they cut away too much from that, or cut away too quick from that moment? Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
We just see her shoulder, and we presume she's dead, and then he gets out and starts washing himself off, and I don't know.
Maybe it's wrapped up too much.
These are choices the directors make, and I don't know, but we get what's happened, but there's some emotional loss there. I think we just don't see things that we need to see sometimes. But anyway, that's just a sad scene. And then Junior goes to see Senior. Right? He knocks on the screen door and he says,
"Yes."
Hey. He's like, "Yeah."
I love this moment.
They let you out of jail. And it's like, "Yeah, I told him a bunch of lies. Do you mind if I come and have a beer?" And then Walken's face as he narrows his eyes. He's like, "Sure, come in."
Sure, come in.
Yes.
And
man,
it's fantastic. Just his eyes. Just
the tension in the scene too, because you know what happened already before, though.
Yeah.
It's like the ticking time bomb with Hitchcock here, because he's bullet riddled at the same time.
Yeah, he's kind of like tourniqueted his wounds, and he's all but bleeding out probably. And he goes to the bathroom. He gets a gun. Somehow knows where the gun is, I guess, because he's been there. So who doesn't have a bathroom gun?
I think it's the same gun from the table from earlier, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is.
From the when they're in the restaurant earlier.
Props department was lazy. Yes, it is the same. And then,
oh God, props department was lazy.
Then Misty, he comes out of the bathroom with the gun, and then what happens?
Well, like Jordan said, I mean, we can see that he's struggling because he's lost a lot of blood, and he's really sweating. But
you're looking a little pale.
Yeah, and Senior hands Junior a beer, and he pulls out the gun on him, and he's holding the gun on him, and he just explains, "I know that Tommy's dead. I know you killed Tommy, and I know that you killed Terry." And I guess Senior is thinking that he's going to kill him because he does start shooting the gun around him.
Yeah,
deliberately not hitting him. Yeah. And he thinks he really is going to kill him. And he's like, "No, I'm not going to kill you. It's not going to go down this way. You are going to go down and you're going to suffer every single day." Meaning, you're going to go to prison. And it actually doesn't look good for Junior in this scene because it looks like he's going to collapse any second.
Yeah. Yeah. He's lost a lot of blood. Yeah.
It is such an intense scene. And
Sean Penn's acting too.
He gets closer and closer to him with the gun, which you don't do that because he could easily just grab it out of his hand so easily. And he's weak and he's upset. I mean, I don't think that it would really play out this way, but then he just motions to the phone, "Go ahead, call him."
Well, yes, that's what happens, Misty. That's a wonderful retelling.
Oh, thank you.
Also in this scene when they shot it, apparently Chris Walken was actually good about checking guns on set already back then. And he would check a gun beforehand, and Sean Penn fucked with him and acted like he didn't switch the gun back after Walken had checked it. And he went, "I need a new gun!" right before the scene, and they rolled camera and he pointed the gun near him, like right at him, and Walken freaking out in that scene is real, apparently. Wow, I'm your father.
Yeah.
All that is real. That's Walken reacting to the fucking gun.
Yeah, that's a tense and wonderful scene. It's probably the best scene in the movie. There are independently 3 or 4 scenes that are just fantastic in this film, and this is memorable, a fantastic scene. And Walken is still pleading with him. On one hand, he's still asserting his ego, right? But then he's kind of trying to appeal to him. He's like, "I gave you money and a car, I love you, I care. Is that what you want to hear?" And so that's whenever Junior is shooting around him, and just he puts that gun to Walken's face, and he says. That's when, like Misty said, I want you to die slow. You don't know if he's going to pull the trigger at that point. But this is, I get it. On one hand, this happens in a lot of movies in the 80s and 90s where, someone can't shoot somebody. It's like, if I shot you, I'd be no better than you. And then they turn, and then that's when the villain finds a gun. And then since the villain has a gun now, you can shoot him,
Yeah, spoilers. It happens in Carlito's Way. He doesn't kill John Leguizamo right away, and John Leguizamo ends up killing him at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Thanks for spoiling Carlito's Way for us, George.
Damn it. That's been on my list for the past 35 years.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Too. Take that.
Well, it's been out since 1993. It's not like I'm late in the game here or new in the game here.
I'm sorry, folks. I want to apologize for Jordan. Any other movies you want to spoil while we're at it, Jordan?
Yeah, Carlito's Way, the sequel, Rise to Power.
Rosebud is a sled, everybody.
Rosebud is a sled on Citizen Kane. There, you don't have to watch it.
Darth Vader is Luke's father. Just get all the spoilers out, Jordan.
I will not spoil Dawn of the Dead, though, 1979. No, I will not spoil that.
Thank you.
That is a movie that I've never stayed awake to see the ending of, but one day I plan to.
Dawn of the Dead, 78, sorry.
But yeah, so he's holding the gun and you don't know. But here's the thing. They cut away from that scene, Misty. As you said, he's sitting there on the floor. He drops to the floor because he's lost a lot of blood. But then you don't know. Like, wait a minute. Did he die? Did he pass out? Was Walken able to, get the gun away from him? Was he out of bullets? I don't know. But because we just cut to this next scene, abrupt cut to a police helicopter, and then we see Walken and the gang in custody going to court. And I was like, real missing? Did we miss a scene here? It just seemed like there should have been something to wrap that scene up. I know I'm getting nitpicky, but it works. It makes sense. But there's so many times when they kind of they shortcut the end of a scene with, and just move on to the next scene. And that was one of those instances. I just wanted to see a little bit more of that personally. I don't know. Am I the only person? Am I crazy here?
You bring up a good point, maybe. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Like there might have been, like how hey, do you want to get up and talk against your father? You really want to do this? Like the lawyer's talking to him more so. I don't know. Is that what you mean?
Know.
Like,
or he could have picked up the phone and then we'd know he called the cops instead of collapsing on the floor and we don't know what's happening next. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is he dead? Is he dying? I don't know.
Instead of a dissolve between them being taken into custody and.
He could have dramatically been turning the rotary dial. 9, 1, 1.
Or the cop. Oh, you mean like the cop showing up to revive him even for the next scene?
Yeah, or a cop showing up, or the cop showing up.
Or the ambulance, the EMT showing up to revive him for the next scene, at least to bring him back to life.
Yeah, something that explains the transitions
to pump blood back into him.
Yeah. We do see all the cops over at Terry's place, but there could have been a scene where a cop comes in and is like, freeze, and then he collapses or something.
That I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the distributors had a play in that or the investors were just like, we need to wrap this movie up. I'm sorry. Come on, let's wrap this movie up. Let's get to the trial already.
Yeah.
Cut. Like Menachem Golem says. Cut.
Yeah.
Cut. I don't know.
So then we see Walken in the gang, or we see Brad
Walken
Jr.
in the gang.
Walken in the gang.
I'm gonna name my band that. Walken in the gang.
They're going to court and they're all in suits and stuff, and this is when it kind of feels like a play again. We get this big anticlimactic and really short, thankfully short courtroom scene where Brad is wearing a wig. And he's testifying.
Is he?
I think he is. I don't know. It looked like a wig.
I thought it was just slick back. He just slicked back blonde hair.
Or maybe
he died.
I don't
Misty,
know.
is he wearing a wig?
It looks like his hair is dyed, because he and probably his mom and grandmother and Kiefer Sutherland have probably all been in some sort of protective services.
Yeah.
For the however many months it took for this to go to trial.
To show the passage of time. Mm-hmm. His hair's cut and sort of for court. I don't know. Anyway,
I thought it was just slick back more so.
Yeah, I don't know. It looked like a wig to me.
Slick back, yeah.
Or maybe Penn was doing another film, and he had to come back and do this.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Or some pickups. I don't know.
Maybe you never know.
I don't know. Anyway, looked weird to me. Not important. But this is the weirdest courtroom scene of all time, because there's very little. I think you've got the prosecutor there. He's talking to him, and he's like,
because he says, "Who is Brad Senior?"
Yeah.
Who is Brad Senior? He's my father.
And then it goes, dun, 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 dun. I have a boyfriend, Sean.
Beautiful. Mwah. Mwah.
I don't know. That's all I got.
He got me this song in this movie. Which is true, actually.
Yeah, so let's revisit that in 1 second. So we get a freeze frame, a slow-mo zoom in, like
And then we roto zoom into his head like
Yeah.
they would do back then, where it was a complex, it was like an animation process, but
Yeah.
they zoom into the image and make it more dramatic.
The camera didn't move. The image is being zoomed in on, and it feels like the end of a cop show, like the end
Like
of
a
a Law and
70s
Order
cop show?
episode or something. I don't know. It just, and then
Oh my God! I want to take that shot now and like play the Law and Order. Dun, 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 just
That's
to see
exactly
how it
what
looks.
it feels like. Yeah.
He's my father.
Next week on Chesterfield PD. Chesterfield County PD.
Or it's Chester County, I guess I think it's Chester County, maybe
is it?
Pennsylvania, something like that.
Yeah. Next week on Chester County, Pennsylvania PD. So anyway, and then we do get that lesser Madonna song playing over the credits.
Although I still think that's a great Madonna song, I will say.
It's a good
I'm not a big Madonna fan, but I actually that's a solid song. It still holds up from 1985, 86. So.
It's a good song. Yeah. Anyway, but it's all very strange to me. Why did we need the courtroom scene? I don't know. The Madonna song is fine. There's choices I don't understand, really. You know?
Yeah.
Normal beats that movies have that this doesn't have. And I don't know.
You wanted to see what's going to happen to Mary Sue, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The stepmom. Can you imagine what happened to her after that? Middle-aged, kept woman, seeking new sugar daddy, must love chain smoking. I got my own double wide. Speed dating had a different meaning back then.
Exactly.
She drinks Miller Genuine. She's got my heart.
Sorry, I got no personality, so you got to be cool with that too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pour myself all over you like Heinz 57. Get over you.
It's okay if you drink Rollin' Rock.
That's the sequel. Like, who's she dating next week?
What asshole is she dating? Yeah. What wife beater wearing t-shirt guy or shirt guy is she dating next week? Yeah.
Yeah. So this is just a movie all about bad decisions, as we've established. The mom makes bad decisions. Christopher Walken makes bad decisions, bringing the kid in.
Oh my God, you make it sound so depressingly right. It's bad decisions all over. My
Terry
God.
makes bad decisions, and everyone gets kind of what they get their just desserts at the end, more or less,
If he had just left it at some point in this movie, been like, no, I'm not talking to my dad ever again. No, I'm not going back.
Should have listened to Grandma. Grandma's the voice of reason here.
I guess the movie would have ended at 60 minutes, though.
Yeah, this movie could have been 20 minutes long. Don't see your dad. Okay, I won't.
Yeah.
And then the Madonna song kicks in.
Will you come talk? Will you speak out against him? No, I won't. No, I won't. Dun, 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 dun.
It's a great song, but does it really fit what's happening? I don't know. It's very strange. But
Because yes, Anthony, he did have a tale to tell, and he was afraid of telling the truth. A man can tell 1,000 lives. He's learned his lesson well. We hope he lives to tell the secret he has learned. Till then, it will burn inside of him. Burn inside of him.
Not really, though. I mean, he was doing crimes. He was in jail.
God damn, you're so cynical. Ah.
This movie is cynical. This movie brought it out.
Oh, yeah, you're right, I guess. Yeah, there's no humor in this movie.
This is a cynical 70s or even 90s movie that's somehow in the 80s, right? But anyways, okay.
Did you not hope that he lived to tell the secret that he had learned? Did you want it to burn inside
You guys
of him?
What were his options?
Y'all are never gonna let me pick the movie ever again.
I picked the movie too. That was partly me though too.
No, this movie's great. It's got wonderful acting. It's atmospheric. It's got that great soundtrack. The cinematography is mostly good. There's just small, odd choices. That's all I'm saying.
That's
true. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
There's just
I'll agree with you on that.
Little decisions that kind of take me out of the movie, and maybe that they're, the beats that every other movie hits, but you get accustomed to seeing them, right? And this movie, in the last, 15 minutes, just kind of goes and does what it wants. I do what I want. And you're like, okay, movie. Go. It's not bad.
I go where I want. You don't tell me where the plot's going to go, motherfucker.
Yeah. I cut where I want.
Yeah. Oh, you got expectations? Fuck you.
But, they could have shaved 15, 20 minutes off of this movie. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
No.
No. Well, you're saying, but you were saying too you wanted more in the end, though. I thought too, though.
Well, they could have trimmed a lot of the long scenes in the beginning.
Oh yeah.
And then
put
added a few minutes in the end where they explain a few things a little better. That's all.
Like how he survived all the 9 gunshots he might have gotten, or the. Well, I guess you only see 5 in the movie. I didn't count on the movie, but you know.
He's Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a couple of explanatory things, but so overall, Misty, what do you think about this fine film?
I really love this movie, and I always have, and that's why I'm going to give it 4 tractors and an above ground pool.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I like that.
What is it about the movie that you love?
I do love all those shots where, like I said, somebody is in darkness, and then all of a sudden there's a light on them, on their face. And even, God, just all the little things. Like, think about the end where when Sean Penn knocks on the door and his dad comes to the door and he looks through, it's a screen door, and it's just dark in there. And then suddenly you just see his face through the screen. Things like that. Those are the little choices that somebody made with style, and it just makes everything more beautiful. Those kind of scenes.
Yeah.
Somebody took the time, thought that out. When it's not necessary to the story, they just wanted to make it look cool, and it worked.
Oh, great. And Jordan, what kind of rating do you give this film? What do you think of it? What kind of rating?
I love it too. I actually love the look of it. I had to look up his name, Juan Ruiz Anchia. I hope I probably said his name wrong. God, I probably butchered his name, but yeah. The person who did the cinematographer, oh my God, I mean, the cinematography is amazing on here. To me, it's like this side of Blade Runner cinematography, this side of Days of Heaven, the way it looks.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I love the cinematography. The cast blows me away. I mean, being a fan of the supporting players in a movie a lot of times too, more so than the leads. I love this movie for that reason too. It's got all those supporting actors I love in every movie from this time period. And I mean, but you have 2 big guns like Sean Penn and Chris Walken going at it. 2 big titans on screen. I mean, this is pretty amazing, I think. And I give it, this is bad taste. I give it 4 out of 5 bullets.
Bullets what? Just bullets?
Bullets to the body, bullets to the psyche.
Okay, yeah.
Shrapnel going, you don't forget images from this movie, I mean.
It does leave mental shrapnel, several scenes in this movie.
Yeah.
You can't unsee.
I mean, I love the fact that they try to sell that it's in Pennsylvania by showing, some terrain does sell it, and the fact that you see Rolling Rock bottles everywhere at least, I mean. And it's funny, you almost have, and you got Chris Walken giving it that extra 70s feel because it's set in 1978. And I love the widescreen glory of this movie. And yeah, I mean, goddamn, there's so much to love about this movie. Acting power all the way as well. All the acting guns in this movie. Acting chops in this movie.
It's truly amazing, and I agree. I've been very critical about certain things. Yeah, the cinematography, like I said, is good, but there's just a series of weird choices that kind of keeps it from being an excellent film. Plus,
it is very dark, and there's not a lot of humor, and you have to look for the places to laugh uncomfortably.
The story is very depressing, and it's kind of a small story for a big film.
It is a bummer, yeah. It's
But yeah, the end.
Don't watch this movie if you just had a promotion in life or you just got something good happen to you. Don't watch this movie. This movie will bring you down.
Yeah.
Possibly. Unless you just appreciate the technical aspects of it like a cinephile.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It sort of sags in the middle and takes a lot of time, but it really picks up at the end. And Penn and Walken are fantastic. There's some excellent acting here. I just think a little story work and some odd choices. Maybe they're taking chances. I don't know. Could have fixed this and really pushed it over the top. For me, I'll give a 3 out of 5, a 6 out of 10. Unnecessary toenail chewing scenes. Like what?
You had to bring that up, of course.
Ugh. That's gonna stick with me. I don't know, but and scenes where you're just asking yourself, is Crispin Glover high in this scene?
What's he on? Is he on some bennies? Is he on some... Yeah. What kind of pills is he on in this scene?
Yeah. So anyways, so let's talk about the budget in the box office. On a budget of $6.5 million, this movie made $2.3.
Yeah, open.
Ouch.
I guess not too big. In February of 1986, apparently.
Didn't even make half its money domestically. I think it's a Debbie Downer movie. It's a good movie, but I just really don't see this as having appeal. I think there was a lot of critics that liked it at the time, but it is a slow burn, and I can see how maybe audiences weren't flocking to this slow burn, depressing movie, despite how really quality it is.
It came out full of a year, though, of bigger guns later on, and
yeah,
would make you forget this movie existed other than the music video. The song was bigger than the movie.
Yeah. But still a good film, an interesting film, and people should check it out if they want to ruin a good mood.
Maybe it was the wrong time for it to be released as well. I mean, the 80s, this was like a 70s vibe movie as well.
Yeah.
It had a downer ending. People die. I mean, that in the 80s that didn't happen a lot.
Yeah.
So you have to give the movie the chops for having to make a 70s style movie in 1986,
But it does kind of have an 80s ending in the sense that the good guys prevail.
Yeah,
he doesn't kill Walken at the end.
It's and it turns into a cautionary fairy tale kind of cautionary tale.
It's a great little small town family crime drama. But really good. So yeah, all right. But I don't know what audiences were thinking. Who knows? Like you said, Jordan, maybe there are more upbeat movies to see that year. But
I'm sure more people saw this on video than saw it in the theater. Honestly, though.
Yeah. So, anyways, Misty, any final thoughts you want to take us out on?
Fuck Ernie.
Fuck Ernie. God damn it, Ernie. Ernie returns and Ernie ruins Christmas.
Fuck Ernie, fuck Grandma.
Yeah. All right. Well, Misty, it's been really great having you back yet again, and I have a feeling that maybe if you're not sick of us, that you'd maybe like to come back for another movie.
Are you sure after this? Well, I guess you probably somebody else is going to have to pick the movie, and yes, I will.
So this week, Misty wants to talk about $1 Million Baby.
What?
And Sophie's Choice.
No, Brokeback Mountain. It's a hoop.
And so, anyways, yeah. Thank you, Misty. It's been awesome as always. This has been a real treat. And I want to thank you, everyone, for listening. I hope you enjoyed this really upbeat episode. And thank you all, especially to our new listeners. We appreciate everyone that does listen. And since Misty's on this one, we're guaranteed to get a lot of listens. So I'm really excited about that. Thank you, Misty.
Oh, that is so sweet.
Fan favorite.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's good to have you on, Misty.
Great to be here.
So next time we'll be talking about some other film, probably.
I feel bad for picking this film now, honestly.
Oh, it's a great film. No, I've been a little critical. It's a good.
I kind of was more the one that picked this film, and I know Misty and I both liked this film going way back. Because we used to watch this on video together, when we were younger. But yeah,
Well, now you get to bring this movie to a lot of people who haven't seen it and who really want to be traumatized.
And something else? This movie made me want to ride around on a car hood for no reason at all and try to get my money back from somebody. I don't know what's wrong with
Bonus.
me.
This movie made me want to steal a tractor for some reason. I don't know.
I've driven a tractor before. Fun fact, really? Yeah, they are fun to drive. I mean, I can imagine stealing one. That might give you more extra adrenaline.
Let's all go steal a tractor and ride around and listen to Tradio.
Yeah.
Yeehaw! Let's go steal a John Deere.
You and Chris Penn can have a tractor chicken race.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Now, I hope you take us out here with Live to Tell by Madonna, some pieces of that, or possibly some of that Patrick Leonard synth music.
Yeah.
I hope you take us out with that.
Let me cue it up. Let me cue it up.
Go,
My father.
All right. That's awesome. Thank you all for listening. And Jordan, this has been...
The robots took my podcast! I'm your father! I took you in! I fed you! I gave you money! Come on! Give me some of that wacky tobacco.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Hello, I'm Brad Whitwood, Sr. Do you like money? I like money. Everywhere I go, I see money. I see things with my name on it. I can tell you how to make more money. The first rule is family. Family is important. You want to know the second rule? I'll tell you. Just come down to one of my seminars. I'll show you how to make money. It's easy. Just fill out one of our forms. Give me your name, your address, and whether you have any tractors, cars, safes, or any other items of value. And I will tell you how to make money. It's that simple. Remember, family, my sons, my brothers, even my stupid brother Patch. Because of me, they now have money. Next weekend, September 9th through 10th, we'll be in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania at the Sheridan. Money. Be there.
All trailers, clips, music, or any other copyrighted material are used sparingly, edited from their original forms, and used for the purposes of criticism, discussion, commentary, and education about these fine films.